After World War II ended, 11 million German soldiers vanished into captivity. Their shocking fate will leave you speechless. From forced labor camps to mysterious disappearances, this hidden chapter of history unveils a story of survival, betrayal, and resilience. Are you ready to uncover the truth? Discover the hidden struggles of over 11 million German soldiers captured as prisoners of war after World War II. In this eye-opening video, we delve into their untold fate across Soviet gulags, American and British camps, French forced labor programs, and the infamous Rheinwiesenlager camps. Uncover how these soldiers endured unimaginable conditions, starvation, forced labor, and harsh climates, and why many never returned home. This is more than just a history lesson. It's a journey into the human cost of war, resilience in the face of adversity, and the moral complexities of justice after conflict. Join us as we reveal the harrowing conditions of Soviet gulags and labor camps, the role of French forced labor in rebuilding a nation, the controversial history of the Rheinwiesenlager camps, the emotional struggle of German POWs returning to a changed homeland. Watch now to uncover the truth about this forgotten chapter of World War II and the shocking fate of German POWs. Don't miss out on this gripping historical exposé. This is a story you won't forget. World War II officially ended in 1945, but for millions of German soldiers captured by the Allied forces, the ordeal was far from over. Stripped of their weapons, uniforms, and dignity, these men faced an uncertain future. Their treatment varied widely depending on where they were held, whether in Soviet gulags, American camps, or even within Germany itself under French and British control. Today, we're uncovering the shocking truth about what happened to these men after the war. Why did so many never return home? And what role did geopolitics and post-war tensions play in their fate? This is a story of survival, betrayal, and resilience, shedding light on a little-known aspect of World War II history. At the end of the war, Allied forces captured an estimated 11 million German soldiers. This staggering number represents one of the largest mass surrenders in modern history. The United States alone held over 3 million, while the Soviet Union had nearly as many, with others spread across British, French, and even Yugoslavian control. As the Third Reich collapsed, these soldiers had no choice but to surrender. For many, it was a choice between captivity and death. But captivity, as they soon learned, came with its own horrors. Once captured, these soldiers were often transported across Europe in overcrowded trains, trucks, or even on foot. The conditions were dire. Some soldiers were packed so tightly into rail cars that they couldn't sit or lie down for days. Without food or water, many succumbed to hunger and dehydration before even reaching the camps. The Allied forces had logistical challenges. They simply weren't prepared to deal with such a massive influx of prisoners. But in some cases, these logistical failures turned into acts of negligence, and the German POWs paid the price. Not all POW camps were created equal. In American and British camps, German prisoners were often treated according to the Geneva Conventions. They were given food, water, and basic shelter, though resources were stretched thin due to the post-war chaos. For many of these prisoners, daily life involved menial tasks, such as clearing rubble, digging trenches, or assisting with agricultural work. While these conditions were harsh, they were a far cry from the brutal experiences awaiting those captured by the Soviets. For the millions of German POWs who fell into Soviet hands, captivity was a nightmare. The Soviet Union had suffered enormous losses during the war, an estimated 27 million people, including both military and civilian casualties. Many in the Soviet government and military saw the German POWs not as prisoners but as tools for retribution. These men were sent to labor camps scattered across the vast Soviet Union, from the freezing tundras of Siberia to the scorched plains of Kazakhstan. The work was grueling, rebuilding cities, constructing railroads, and even mining. Inadequate clothing and poor nutrition made survival a daily struggle. Disease was rampant in the overcrowded camps, and medical care was virtually non-existent. Official Soviet records suggest that approximately one-third of the German POWs in their custody perished from starvation, disease, and overwork, but some historians believe the actual numbers are even higher. Meanwhile, in France, a different story unfolded. Struggling to rebuild after years of German occupation, France used around 700,000 German POWs as forced laborers. These men worked to repair roads, bridges, and railways destroyed during the war, as well as to rebuild the nation's cities. While conditions in French camps varied, many German prisoners faced significant hardships, including inadequate housing, poor sanitation, and harsh treatment from French authorities. For some, their captivity felt like an ironic reversal of roles. They were now the ones rebuilding what they had once destroyed. One of the most controversial episodes in this post-war history involved the Rheinwiesenlager, or the Rhineland meadow camps. These temporary camps, established by the Allies in Western Germany, were designed to hold hundreds of thousands of German POWs. However, they were little more than open fields surrounded by barbed wire. Prisoners had no shelter from the elements, and food supplies were severely limited. For weeks, these men lived in makeshift tents or simply slept on the ground, exposed to the rain, wind, and cold. Reports from the Rheinwiesenlager camps paint a grim picture. Prisoners often had to scavenge for food or resort to eating grass to stave off hunger. Disease spread quickly in these unsanitary conditions, and the lack of medical supplies only worsened the situation. The exact death toll in these camps remains a topic of debate among historians. Some estimate that tens of thousands perished, while others argue the numbers were lower. What's clear is that the conditions in these camps were a stark contrast to the Allied rhetoric of justice and fairness. For many German POWs, captivity lasted far longer than they had anticipated. While some were released within a year or two, others remained prisoners for a decade or more. The last German POWs held by the Soviet Union weren't released until 1956, over a decade after the war's end. These men returned to a Germany that had changed dramatically. Cities lay in ruins, families had been torn apart, and the political landscape was unrecognizable. Adding to their difficulties was the social stigma they faced upon returning home. Many Germans viewed returning POWs with suspicion, as they were often accused of collaborating with their captors or failing to resist. This stigma was particularly strong for those who had been held by the Soviets, as Cold War tensions painted them as potential communist sympathizers. For these men, the end of captivity didn't mean the end of their struggles. They had to rebuild their lives in a society that often saw them as reminders of a painful past. Despite the hardships, stories of resilience and humanity emerged from this dark chapter of history. Diaries of German soldiers provide a unique insight into their daily lives as POWs. These personal accounts reveal moments of kindness and solidarity among the prisoners, as well as their determination to survive and maintain their dignity. In some cases, friendships even formed between captors and captives, reminding us that even in the most challenging circumstances, humanity can prevail. The fate of German POWs after World War II is a stark reminder of the human cost of war. While the focus of history often lies on battles, strategies, and political decisions, the stories of those who endured the aftermath offer valuable lessons about resilience, justice, and the complexities of post-war reconciliation. These men were not just prisoners. They were sons, fathers, and brothers, caught in the chaos of a world struggling to heal. What do you think? Did the Allied powers handle these prisoners fairly, or were they victims of post-war vengeance? Their experiences raise important questions about justice and morality during times of conflict. Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you've been captivated by this untold chapter of history, don't forget to hit the like button and share this story with others who love diving into the past. Subscribe to our channel, Legacy of Eras, for more compelling historical stories that uncover the truth behind the headlines. Turn on notifications to ensure you never miss a story that will leave you thinking long after the credits roll.